The rain tapped against the living room window, a gentle beat that tried to cut through the heavy silence. Denise wiped her hands on the floral apron she always wore for book club, her breath fogging up the glass. As she peered into the gathering gloom outside, the street was empty. It had been since last Wednesday. The night laughter and wine had soured into something monstrous. Neighbors whispered now, their eyes skittering away whenever Denise stepped into sunlight. They wondered why the police hovered so long at her house, why they brought tape and cameras but left with only the echo of footprints. The book club didn't meet anymore. There were only crimson stains on the velvet rug and a muddy handprint smeared down the banister, denied, retold, and hidden. Denise hadn't meant for any of it. That's what she told herself each morning, watching the news anchor read a warning about the supposed suburban stalker, the one she'd invented, a shadow in a hoodie, glimpsed once in the rearview mirror. He went by many names in her statements, his outline shifting in her retellings. First he watched from the hedges, then rattled the French doors. She described heavy breathing, a glimmer of a knife. In her story, the other women screamed and ran, blood pooling beneath their heels, a tableau of terror. But Denise was the only survivor. She went back to the living room every evening, arranging the armchairs in their old circle, letting her imagination breathe in the places where her friends once sat. She could still smell the Merlot on Linda's sleeve, still hear Marian's sharp giggle from across the table. Sometimes, sitting alone in the dark, Denise could feel the weight of a gaze from the doorway. Not the stalker. She'd made him up to soak up her guilt like a sponge. But something else lingered, spectral, uninvited. Denise started seeing their faces in the glass cabinets, their pale mouths frozen in mid-scream. Late at night, when she fumbled for the kitchen light, she'd hear the soft turning pages of an unseen book. The story never changed no matter how many times she rehearsed it for the detectives, her words growing thinner each time. She imagined their judgment in the silence, the terrible patience of the dead. One night, as thunder crawled across the sky, Denise felt a cold hand squeeze her shoulder. She spun around, but the room was empty. The bookshelves began to rattle, as if the novels knew too, their whispered confessions fluttering out with the wind. Denise pressed her forehead to the window, searching for the stalker's shape among the shadows, but saw only her own reflection, wide-eyed, guilty, and grinning with bloody teeth. That was when Denise realized she wasn't alone. Someone had been writing her story this whole time, watching from behind the curtains. And when the police knocked again, she knew they weren't looking for a stranger. They had come to read the next chapter, and all Denise could do was wait, haunted by the club she led to their final ending.